So good afternoon students. Previous class we started that motion chapter. It is part 2 of motion, and that the velocity is over. Now we are reading about speed with direction. That day only we read about the speed, and now the speed as well as direction. Whenever a body is moving or the motion of an object along with its speed and the direction gives a new term is called velocity. You are acquainted with the term velocity. Previously I don't know about that you are acquainted with velocity or not, but now you have to learn about velocity. What is velocity? Now it is the rate of change of motion, the same as speed. Speed is also the rate of change of motion, and velocity also the same definition, the rate of change of motion. But the speed has no direction, only it has magnitude. So the speed is called a scalar quantity, but the velocity has the direction as well as magnitude, so it is called a vector quantity. Physical quantities are of two types. One is scalar quantity, another one is vector quantity. The scalar quantity has only magnitude, but the vector quantity has direction as well as magnitude. So velocity is the rate of change of motion, and it has direction as well as magnitude. It is a vector quantity. Point out. And velocity definition equal to displacement by time, and the speed definition is distance by time. Displacement and distance are similar words, but their meaning is different. You have to take an example. Suppose A and B are 2 points, and the shortest distance between A and B is known as displacement of the object. Suppose a object is moving from A to B, and what is the shortest distance? The shortest distance is a straight line. It is called the displacement. It is the shortest distance between 2 points. And another example, look here. A and B are 2 points, and the object is moving from here to here, here to here. It covers a zigzag path and finally reaches at B. And here the distance is known as, the total path covered by the object is known as distance. Here to here, here to here, here to here, so many path, so many distance, so many way it travels, it is called the distance. So speed is defined as distance per time, and velocity is defined as displacement per time. Clear that between A and B it is the shortest distance is a straight line, and it is known as displacement. Distance, it is the path covered by the body from A to B, or the actual path covered by the body is known as distance, and displacement is the only shortest distance. Clear? Next, velocity may be of two types, uniform and non-uniform. Uniform means whenever a body covers equal distances in equal interval of time, then it has uniform velocity. And a non-uniform velocity, the non-uniform velocity is non-uniform or variable. Its other name is variable, and variable means you are knowing changeable. So it can be changed by changing the object's speed, direction of motion, or both. Either we can change the speed of the object, then it is called non-uniform velocity or variable velocity, or either we can change the direction of motion, then it will also be a non-uniform velocity or a variable velocity, or both the speed and the direction when changes, then it has known as non-uniform velocity. Then average velocity, another term. Average velocity only be calculated in uniform velocity. If the velocity of an object changes uniformly, then the sum of initial and final velocity divided by 2 is given as, gives the average velocity. Suppose a body first, the velocity of a body first 10 meter per second, then after the second velocity is 20 meter per second. It is the initial velocity and the final velocity. Then the average velocity is initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. Then the unit, the SI unit of velocity is meter per second, the same unit of speed, that is the unit of velocity. Then let us take another new term, acceleration. Acceleration, or A, the rate of change of velocity is defined as acceleration. Rate of change of velocity, whenever the term rate will come, then divided by time. Always remember, rate word comes means always divided by time. In the denominator time will be there, and change means from final value to initial value. Change means from final value to initial value. When we subtract, then we get the change. If the velocity of an, suppose it is example, if the velocity of an object changes from an initial value u, the initial velocity u to the final value v in the time t, then the acceleration will be given as v minus u by t, because v minus u equal to change in velocity. Change in velocity, I told you that final velocity minus initial, with the final velocity v, initial velocity u, so v minus u, change in velocity, divided by time, it is your velocity. It is a kind of motion is known as accelerated motion. It is known as accelerated motion. It is negative if it is in the opposite direction of velocity. Suppose when you apply a brake on the cycle or car or train, then the velocity is moving forward, but the acceleration is acting its backward direction, its opposite direction. So that's why the cycle stops after brake, or the bike stops after brake, or the train stops after brake. This is called negative acceleration. It is called negative. And positive acceleration, if the direction of velocity is, if the acceleration is in the direction of velocity. Suppose a ball is moving, football, and again you kick it, then it is known as your positive. Again you accelerated in the same direction. The SI unit of velocity is meter per second per second. Why? Because velocity by time, velocity is meter per second divided by second, which equal to meter per second into 1 by second, equal to meter by second square. Remember, the SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. And Prabhas asked one question in comment that sir, is uniform speed. Actually, there is no uniform speed or particular definition for uniform speed. What you have to do now, you have to just do a plot a graph. Suppose this is a graph and it is velocity, it is time. If the it is speed, and it is time, or it is distance, it is time. When the graph is straight, when the distance versus time graph, the distance versus time graph is straight, means equal interval of time the object covers equal distances, then this graph is known as uniform speed graph. It is known as uniform speed graph.